Shalom, beloved family. It's your girl Sophia, the American Mariam, and we are here with another video. Eventually I'll go back to integrating the cards in and all of that. It's just that of all the readers that I'm watching, the cards are just unnecessary. They're using the cards, but they don't need the cards. And I feel like we, as people who are with this whatever gift, we really have to stand in our own power and stand 10 toes down. And so, anyway, I'm liking more, channeling the message directly as opposed to trying to get it through the cards at this time. But perhaps I will go back into that sooner than later. I do want to advise people or invite people to go and look at the video that I made. It was about 3 months ago now, almost exactly over 3 months ago, actually almost 4 months ago, regarding the magic that would be activated. We are going to be talking about that this weekend. I'm not sure if I'm ready to do lives, but I'm definitely going to put out some videos about it, because the point here is that once you have connected the me to the I am, which is the Most High, then you can activate this type of folk magic, which will be available to us or is available to us moving forward. And that's the part that I didn't have when I originally made the video. And if you listen to that video, you could tell in my voice I really did not want to make that video. I'm glad that I did follow my instincts, because I would have not been able to remember the all the details without being able to go back and refer to the video. Because I did not take notes. When that information was given to me, I didn't write it down. I just made the video and was like, I got to take a break from all of this stuff, because, there's nothing wrong with using things on the outside to achieve a means. But if you don't have your strong connection with the inside, then you're going to have more problems than a few trying to reconnect yourself with that inside source. So I know that there are a lot of people, I received a lot of feedback about the whole philosophy issue. And I know that there are people who do not believe that it's useful for them, and that is fine. Everybody come to the magic or themselves or to the Most High however they want. Whatever resonates with you is what you should do. And if it does not resonate with you, then you should not do it. It's just that if you are a person out here who has found yourself besieged with negative entities, negative situations, things not going in a way that you would like them, cultivating a philosophy could help address some of those problems. Because what you're doing is when you develop a philosophy, okay, you are actually you're connecting your I am with the mother. Why do I say it like that? Because the philosophy is what holds you to this planet. It's your why. So if you've done any network marketing, you know that they're always talking about what is your why. Why are you going to continue to do what you do, even in times of extreme distress? What is going to keep you tethered to this goal that you're trying to achieve? And that is your why, okay? And so Your why is basically just your plug that you plug into the mother. And the reason why I put it like that is because we know the mother stayed with us. We know the mother is here. We know the mother is earth. She's a lot of things in this physical plane. Okay? And so if you want to try and figure out why the things that you want are not seeming to come to fruition, you have to plug in to the mother on the physical plane. Now, we have been doing that through grounding. We've been doing that through, different kinds of prayers, meditation, so on and so forth. So all of those things are a part of it. But when you develop a cohesive strategy, philosophy around your why, you are able to connect with that. You can connect with that source faster. Meaning, when you go to meditate, meditation slows your body down and it gives you access to different things, different levels, especially the alpha, the beta, the gamma, all those different vibrations. They give you access to things. But if you need something immediate, what is the method that you have for that? So sometimes you have time for things to manifest, right? Some things, they just take time because you want something that's in this 3D matrix. So it has to go through a certain protocol in this 3D matrix. But what if it is something that that could go either way? Meaning, the options are actually unfolding before you. Can you meditate? Like, stop everything and meditate? Or do you maybe need another strategy that can manifest you the outcome that you want? See, because meditation is about laying the foundation, getting like shadow work. It's laying the foundation. But philosophy is about changing the outcomes of things, having favorable outcomes. That's what philosophy does. That's what knowing your why does. So I'll give you all an example. I thought there was something wrong with my car, and I had my sister's husband who works on cars look at it. And I wasn't exactly sure what the problem was, but I knew in the back of my mind what they had told me at the shop, which was, oh, your car has a major oil leak, you need a new oil pan, it's gonna fall off, all this crap, right? And I'm like, I don't think so, because I just drove like 1,200 miles and I didn't even have a problem. So I don't agree with that assessment. I didn't agree with that, and I rejected that immediately. So when he was looking at the car, he was like, well, he got a new plug, but the plug didn't fit. And, maybe I was going to need a new oil pan. He wasn't sure if the temporary fix was going to work. And it was a lot of uncertainty about the result of an ongoing situation. So what I did was I went and I laid down, because the kids were all laying down. So I went and I laid down, and I just focused on a very simple phrase, which is, two different phrases. One I already told y'all about, the I am, and you have to say it's two I's. I'm sorry, I'll come back to that later. It's two I's. I am the fruit of the vine. That's one. And the other one is, what is the Most High's perfection? Or what is the I am perfection? Either one. In this situation with my car, what is the I am, what is the perfection of the Most High in this situation in my car? Like, if the Most High was to make this perfect, what would it look like? Okay, those are two things I focused on. I guess you could call it like meditating, but I just kept rolling that around in my head until I fell asleep. And then when I woke up, they was able to fix the problem. It didn't cost me anything. It was so simple. He advised me not to go up the road in this car, which is fine. I don't need to go up the road. But he was like, yeah, it's fine. It's all taken care of. Just be easy. So the perfection in that situation was I didn't have to spend anything. It was such an easy fix. It didn't really cost anything, just some time. But the time was time that he was willing to share with me to solve this problem, which I appreciate. And, ask the Most High, of course, to bless my brother-in-law abundantly because he shared his time with me working on this car. So that is a technique, that I use to cause an immediate change. So it's one thing to be laying the foundation with your mantras and your meditations and all of that, but when you get into action, when you get into motion, you need to have something that a tool you can use to call in your why, basically. And your why, like I said, is what ties you to the mother. So the mother, everything is in your birth chart. Let me just go back to this. First of all, everything is in your birth chart. Everything is in your birth chart. The people who got birth charts from me last year, woo boy, you guys are very lucky because everything is there. One of the sisters who got a chart reading from me went back and watched her reading, and she was like, oh my God, this is exactly what's happening right now. A year ago, the cards and her chart, it was all there. So, whatever, I'm just saying, it's everything is in your chart. There's nothing that's not in your chart. So let's talk about your South Node for a minute. So everybody knows the North Node. Okay, when they say North and South Node, I did not know this, and it's not clear. North and South Node is the poles, the nodes, the points on the moon. We're talking about the lunar points, and they never tell you that's what that means. It's the position of the moon in your chart. So the North Node is what you're trying to aspire to, what you're here in this life cycle to achieve. That's the North Node. The South Node, they always say is what I have heard over and over and over again about the South Node is what you have to leave behind. But we are whole and complete beings that are perfect. Why are we leaving stuff behind? Why are we leaving tools in the toolbox unused? Well, we're leaving tools in the toolbox unused because nobody know how to use them. And, the mother has been very, very gracious giving me this information. So, anyway, I was talking to the sister, and she was like, I had, asked the question in the video, well, what is your why? And she said, well, my why is my family. And I was like, I wonder where that is in your chart. And lo and behold, it was in her chart. Not only was it in her chart, it was literally the South Node. But if you see my tarot spiral, it wasn't the major arcana on the outside, it was the minor arcana on the inside. So it wasn't on the outside of the wheel, it was on the inside of the wheel. And that's what makes sense, because the outside of the wheel is what the Most High controls, the major arcana, and the inside of the wheel are the pieces that the mother controls. So her particular card actually is my card that represents me. And that is her why, and so that's why we have a connection. And so I was like, oh, okay, now I understand this thing a lot more. And when I looked at my card, my personal South Node card that was associated with it, it was actually the Five of Swords. And when you look at it, and I'm going to put out the minor arcana spiral this weekend, and I might do North and South Node readings if people want to get them, and I can send them the information I probably will do that this weekend for like $20 or something. And I'll tell you what your north and your south node is in the tarot so that you can go and look at it. But I also put it out so you don't have to pay me. But the south node. So my card. Okay, my card is the Five of Swords. You have to look at it in reverse. When you look at the reverse definition of the card, this is just for the south node, that will give you the explanation of what your why is. So, and then when you look at that card in the upright, the description of the card in the upright, it will tell you, it will tell you basically what that, when you get out of, basically it'll tell you what you did in your past life that caused you to have it, caused you to have to almost come back to that particular issue. So for me, mine is the Five of Swords. Okay, I'm trying to get to the point. For me, mine is the Five of Swords. And so the Five of Swords is basically a guy with a smirk on him, his face, and two other guys walking away. And it's basically that, I won, but at what cost? What did it cost me to win this? Was it actually worth it, what I went through to win this? That's the energy that comes off that card. So in reverse, it's basically like you forgiving people. I call it this way. I judge everybody based on how they treat me that time. If you come at me and you're in a good mood, I'm real nice to you and I'll treat you fine and everything will be good. And if you come at to me and you're in a bad mood, I will just, I dust my feet off and I continue to move, because I don't want that kind of energy in my energy field. And so if you come back to me again, like in a few minutes, and you have raised your vibration because I've raised my vibration, you come to match my vibration, I just treat you like that. And really dealing with my old man really taught me how to do that. So I always approach people how they approach me. If you're in a high vibration, I'm going to give you a high vibration. If you're in a low vibration, I'm not going to, I'm just not going to engage, because I don't engage in low vibrational stuff. And that has really helped me in my life, especially, the last few months, and all this stuff has been happening to me. So, but that's what it is for me. So everybody has a different thing that is holding them. Everybody and every generation have a different set of things that are holding them. So you have people who were born, everybody has a different set of things that are holding them. There's subtle energies, there's subtle things. And whatever it is and I also advocate for treating everybody with respect. I'm like, well, judge the person based off what they've done. Don't get into all of this other stuff that has nothing to do with nothing. Let's, treat people, the way that they're handling themselves. And if they show you something different, then you just disengage with them until such time as they come into a higher vibration. And then you re-engage with them, with the same sort of, love that you always had for them, but couldn't quite get out because they were in such a low vibration. I'm not going to do this. So that's my spiel on that. I think I can crank out some of those, because it's really, really important to know when you're saying I am, what you're connected to. So let me go back to that. The whole concept of saying it, I am, is because if you actually look at the Greek in the I think I talked about this, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. If you actually look at the Greek, it has I am. The way that it was written in Greek was I am. And even if you look at the they ask, in the Old Testament, in the Hebrew, it's I am that I am, but it's still two eyes. So why do you need two eyes? If it's just I am, then why do you need two eyes? Well, the two eyes is what connects you. And this is funny because those girls the servant warriors, they were talking about this, and now I have a greater understanding of what they were talking about. You want to take your two eyes and make them singular, meaning you want to connect with the I am, so that you only have one eye. But I don't necessarily agree with that 100%, but that's what their philosophy was, that you want to take the two eyes and make them singular. Just because you have two eyes that are singular doesn't mean you only have one eye. That's like, delusional to say, oh, just because my eyes are focused on a single point means I only have one eye. That's a little bit delusional. You still have two eyes, they're just focused on one point. So when you say I am, with the comma, with the pause, you are connecting the I with the I am. You are immediately connecting the I with the I am. It's a and because that's how it has always been said, I am that I am, I am that I am, I am that I am, on the outside, on the inside, and on the outside. I am that I am. Also, I am. I am. It's both. You can use either one depending on if your preference is the Hebrew or the Greek. I'm more preferential to the Greek myself than the Hebrew. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But so the point of that is, if you say I am that I am, you can say that, or you can say I am, whatever it is in your mind. It's like plugging in the outlet so that the energy can flow. That I am, if you use that in the Hebrew, or I am in the Greek, it is plugging in, is the trigger in your mind to plug you in to the source. And this is the things that the masters use, these ascended masters use to plug directly into the source. So when I say I am the fruit of the vine, I'm plugging in to the I am that is the fruit of the vine. I'm plugging into that energy. Whether I visualize it, like I posted the video of the grapes for you guys to see, whether I'm visualizing being the fruit of the vine or not, it's still going to have the same result. And so the reason why I feel we can move forward with the magic is because once you plug that in, I am, or the I am that I am, and you plugged into the fruit of the vine, or the way, the truth, and the light, whatever of the sayings of our brother that you use when you're trying to establish this connection, whichever phraseology you use, you will be able to activate the magic. So I had said in my video, because I went back and watched it, that you better not use it if you can't activate it. Well, I didn't even know how to activate it. Like, I was just like, I don't even know what that means right now. So I'm just going to put it out there, because we have to, just like them, we have to broadcast what we're doing, because that is the law of posting, or I can't remember. It's a posting law. You have to acknowledge, you have to declare, proclaim what your plans are, so that people can know. You can't really move in silence and in secret. If you want to be following the rules, certain things you got to do publicly. You might not have to give the whole thing publicly, but you at least have to put it out there that this is the plan. So at the time I was giving out the magic, I didn't even have the keys. I didn't have the understanding. I just had the keys. It was like, okay, I got the keys, but what door does this go into? Like, how does this even supposed to work? And so when now since I have decided to remove myself from spiritual warfare, that stage is done. I did a lot of prep, and then we did a lot of spiritual fighting over the last 6 months, and now that phase is done. So now that I'm done with the spiritual warfare, the next phase is to activate my connection with the Most High. When you're fighting these battles, you can't necessarily be connected like that to the Most High, because you don't want to bring that stuff in front of Him. But once you're done, you can reconnect. And we have to be willing to go back and forth between connecting with the Most High and disconnecting, because sometimes we do have to fight battles. There are spiritual battles that need to be fought, and part of the problem of our people is that we would be so worried about connecting with the Most High that we wouldn't fight the battles. We would stop living, because it's easier to just stay connected with the Most High and leave these spiritual battles to be fought by somebody else. But the somebody else is us. So if we leave it for somebody else, that's why everything is so out of control right now, because we were too connected to the Most High that we couldn't do the work that was required down here. Because there's a physical part and there's a spiritual part. That's why there's a north node and a south node. You have the part where, you know, your authority, your authorization on what you're supposed to do based on what the Most High has ordered. And then you also have the part where you are down here to do a certain amount of work. And so if you refuse to do, you're rejecting the mother when you don't come down here and do your work. That's what that is. So when you reject the mother and say, nah, I'm only going to deal with the father, because if I just deal with the father, then I don't have to deal with these people down here. No, that's your job. That's what we were made for. We were made to deal with these people down here, this stuff down here. And so if you, and it's flat out rejecting the mother to not do the work that needs to be done on this physical plane. You can't opt out of the matrix and say, okay, well, that's not my problem. Somebody else's problem. No, it is your problem. This was the problem you were created to solve. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a north and a south node. You would just have a north node, and you would just like everybody does now in astrology. They're so focused on their north node, they don't even think, oh, well, my south node means something too. What does that mean? What does it mean for me? How do I activate my south node and make it useful? And that's how it is. You have to actually be down here doing the work. You can't just be out there doing the work, you know. Oh, I'm doing the work of the Most High. Okay, well, what about the mother? You know, you're just going to leave her to do all this work by herself? That's what we've been doing, by rejecting our south node and saying, no, well, you know, I'm not tied to this planet. And it brings a song to mind. I can't remember who it's by, but it says, I got no roots, for my home was never on the ground. And I like the song, but it always bothered me. And I realize now it bothers me because my home is here. You know, I have a home above and a home below. I can't have two homes. All the Gentiles have 2, 3, 4, 5 homes. You mean to tell me I'm such a singular person, I can only have one home? No, my 2 eyes can be focused on the same thing, but that doesn't mean I only have one eye. It means I have 2 eyes that are focused on one thing. Like, I mean, this shouldn't be like complicated, but if you don't work on, you know, again, this is why you have to have a philosophy, because a lot of this stuff that's in the Bible will go right over your head because you're just looking at it from a, you know, position that you don't have to get involved with the things, this earthly realm. You know, I'm in the world, but I'm not of the world. That's true. I am in the world. That means I am in my mother, but I am not of this world. Not of this world. This world didn't make me. You know, the mother and father made me. So I'm not of this world, but I am in this world because I'm not going to leave my mother. She didn't leave me. I'm not leaving her. And that's, you know, the part that we kind of refuse to address. We want to be out of this world, and we want to just leave our mother hanging to clean up this mess. This mess can't be cleaned up by anyone but us. No one is going to clean up this mess. Who is supposed to do it? Are you just going to leave this place a mess for your future ancestors, you know, your ancestral line to deal with it? No, I want to deal with it now so that my ancestral line can be karma free. This place creates goo gobs of karma. I don't want my ancestral line to be bogged down with all this karma. That's awful. Short version is awful. Long version is horrible. It's ridiculous for you to decide to leave all of this trouble, all of the troubles of this world for your ancestral line to clean up. When you can take a stand, connect to the I am, connect the I to the I am that I am right now, clean your part up now, do your work now, activate your South Node, and whatever that means for you right now. Or you can leave it undone, and guess what? Your line has to keep incarnating to clean up this mess. And I don't want that for my children and my future grandchildren, my great grandchildren. I don't want that for them. Just like ours did not want it for us. I mean, if you look at your actual ancestral line, a lot of our great grandparents left our grandparents' land. And what did the government do? Because our great grandparents and our grandparents only wanted to live in the realm of, only wanted to deal with this physical realm with the mother and did not want to deal with the father. That's why we have this mess. But if they had dealt with the mother and the father going back and forth between the realms, we wouldn't have this mess. So, because they would not have been able to take the land from our people in the first place. But we only wanted to deal with the spiritual. So we have to be able to deal with the physical and the spiritual. We have to be able to deal with both. And somehow our people understood this. No, our brother understood this, which is why he was here physically and he was here spiritually. He did both. And so we really have to, consider these things. And that's all philosophy is asking the questions. Ask the questions. Like I showed y'all that video. Well, what is friends? Like, what does that even mean? That's so general. I got a lot of friends. Good friends, bad. I gotta give up my life for my bad friends? Come on now. That don't make sense. So what does that word mean? And how was that word used? It only took me asking the question to get the answer. And that's what we're all called to do. You don't have to know the answer. Nobody said you had to know the answer. Just ask the question. Ask the question of the mother, of the father, of our brother, and go looking. If you ask the question and you look, you'll get the answer. However mysterious of a way it is. At the same time, you are healing your South Node. You're bringing yourself into a closer relationship with the mother, and you are activating all the parts of you that have basically laid dormant. And so you really want to do these things so that you are not overly bound to just the mother or just the father, because guess what? The Lord our God is one. The mother, the father, our brother, they're all one, so you are betrothed to serve all. The mother, the father, and our Messiah. You're supposed to help with them all. You're supposed to be the spokesperson, the image of all of them, of the father, of the mother, and of our brother. You have to be the image of all of them. And so if you skip one, you're missing out on a lot of really, really good karma that can come your way, and a lot of ancestral healing that will just occur naturally. And you will, instead of having to like in that video I posted from Isis Wisdom and the sister Erin Lyons, when Isis talks about calling in all the parts of herself, that was very painful. Well, it would be very painful if you didn't heal those parts before you called them in. So what this does, by plugging into the mother, it heals those parts of your ancestral line, your South Node, before you get to calling all of that power back in. And that power will automatically come back to you. I mean, anybody who looks at my videos from last year to now can clearly see I have stepped into some kind of power. I didn't have to go and call all these different parts back to me. I just walked right into it because the angels were initiating me. The mother and the father were putting me through this initiation process that was a very natural process. And so if you want this to be a natural and an easy process for you, something that is replicatable and duplicatable, you want to develop a system. The philosophy is what makes something replicatable and duplicatable. That's what the Bible is. The Bible is a book of philosophy. I am that I am is a philosophy. If you believe I am that I am, then you can skip out on some of the wondering, well, where is God? Who is God? What is God? Why is God? Well, I am that I am. So the God is me and I am God. Not saying that I'm better than the creator, no, but he is in me and I am in him. And in the Bible it talks about that over and over and over again. And people just kind of dismiss it because they don't want to take the time to develop the philosophy that goes along with it. And even if you don't want to develop the philosophy, I am not saying that everyone has to develop a philosophy. However, if you don't want to develop the philosophy, that's what the churches are for. The churches, especially the Orthodox Church, they implant into you a philosophy, and so, or impart into you a philosophy. So you don't have to be some great philosopher to go to an Orthodox church or Islamic church or whatever. You don't have to be some great philosopher. They will give you the philosophy, and then your higher self, the mother and the father, will fill in the pieces. But a lot of y'all don't want to go to church. You don't want to read the Bible. So I'm not really sure how you're going to get a philosophy that's going to help you get through what is coming. If you can develop the philosophy on your own, that's great. That's great. But if you can't, then you need to really, dive deep and, if you can develop the philosophy on your own, that's great. If you can't, you need to dive deep into some sort of religious system and look at it from the understanding of, this is teaching me how to connect to the mother and the father. And each path has truth to it. That's why we can't reject any of this stuff. And so I'm here where I have to be. And so I hope this was helpful to people. And we'll be talking further about all of this stuff. And so shalom everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.